let's go ahead and get into it. So right now, I hope you guys are all looking at the same screen. This is the tastyworks or tastytrade desktop trading platform. If it looks different, if you're looking at something different right now and you are on a web browser, that's actually our web-based trading platform. It's at the URL trade.tastytrade.com. That's a different looking platform, same kind of functionality. You're going to see all your same accounts. They're linked up where the actions are same across each other, but our desktop platform here, the platform that we're looking at on the screen, this is going to be our most robust piece of software. This is where you're going to be able to do the most. That's why we're showing you it here right now. So let's do it. Let's get into it. Still got a few more folks shuffling in. Perfect. Okay, cool. So our demo today, we're going to kind of go over just platform layout and wayfinding. How do you navigate the platform? I really want to get you guys all set up and comfortable with what you want to see on the platform. It's very customizable where you can see the data that's most applicable to you, kind of filter out the other noise in the background. It might be a little intimidating at first to open up the platform. You're like, whoa, there's a lot going on right now on the screen. What should I really focus at if I just want to, track some options trades or place a stock order or chart? We're just going to keep it nice and basic, keep it slow, and get through it. So let's do it, folks. Thank you for your patience. And hello, everyone that's tossing questions in. We got a Q&A section as well for those of you that just came in. So let's do it. I'll try and get some drawings here as well. We're going to test out Zoom's drawings here just so it's a little easier to see what I'm referencing. So off the bat, the platform's built into 3 distinct sections, or you kind of say like 4 distinct sections. On the left side here, we have our watch list panel. And then in the middle section here is our primary window. Right now, we have the trade tab open. So this entire window here is going to be our primary center window. And then at the top is our active symbol header and our account totals row. So that area right there. And then to the right, let's see if I can deselect that. Back over to my draw tool. Perfect. We have our right side panel here as well. So you're saying, okay, maybe I'm not seeing that right side panel off the bat. If you look closely in the top right, you see this little arrow right here. If you click that, that will expand and collapse your right bar here. So if you want to see this information, you can keep it open or you can close it out here with this arrow. Additionally, when you do have this open, there is another little arrow here. If you got 2 monitors set up or you just have a lot of resolution on your screen and have more space, you can click this little arrow here to actually detach this window and pull it into a different area of your window. So if you just want more space in your center, but still want to get this information in the right side panel that we'll go over in a little bit, you can click this arrow here. It kind of messes up the demo with Zoom if I click on that, so I'm going to hold off for now, but something that you can do. For now, let's just go ahead and close out of our right side panel. We'll open it up again in a second, but let's go back over to our left side watch list tab. This is going to be stagnant on your platform no matter what you do. You're always going to see this left side. Now, what you can do though is make it a little bigger or smaller. Right now, actually, if I get off my drawing tool, you see this little bar here. If you scroll your mouse over it, you see how it's flashing there and you get a little arrow selector. You can drag and expand this if you want to make your watch list a little bit bigger. What you're actually seeing is that it's filling in with some more columns of data. So we could really crank that out and see 8 columns if we wanted to, or we can go ahead and drag it all the way over and just see 1 column and kind of collapse it. But it's important to have this side open or kind of persist on the platform because it's going to help you navigate between your symbols. So at the top of your watch list tab, you see a few different symbols. It's called our recent symbols. And let me get my drawing tool up again just to make it a little easier. So recent symbols here. And then there's also an arrow here too if you wanted to collapse this. But in short, this is just going to be a list of symbols that you've recently looked at. Maybe you looked at a chart on it, you pulled up the options chain on it, or you just searched for it at the top here in this little search symbol field. So in this search symbol field at the top, and let me get rid of my drawing. Clear all drawings, there we go. We're getting used to it on Zoom here. It's a little janky, but it's getting across. So if we have our area up here, we wanted to enter in a symbol, in this case, maybe TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. You can type that in here, and then you're going to see that in the top right are recent symbols. We just looked up at TSM. So there's a few ways to pull up a symbol, and if you look to the right of the symbol search as well, we're going to see some information on that symbol in this top header that we can use to place a trade on. So in this case, we got the name of the company. We also have information like the IV rank, the last price, change in price for the day, bid and ask as well, and then volume. So there's been 7.5 million contracts of TSM traded today. As you're going through your watch list here on the left, let me clear out my drawings here. Boom. Boom. As you're going around the watch list here on the left, and you click on symbols as well. So in this case, F for forward, if you click on that, you'll see that it gets at the top of your recent symbols. And now the information at the top of our platform as well is showing information on forward. So we see the name again, contracts traded, other information on forward, it's our active symbol. What's interesting as well is that this table at the bottom, you might see as I'm clicking around on different symbols in my watch list, either at the top here, maybe I click on docu, that'll pull it up. You'll see that this table below, the options chain for that is updating to your active symbol, the symbol that we've searched at the top. So these would be the options for DocuSign. If we wanted to go back and quickly click on TSM, we're going to see now we see the options chain for TSM. So it's important that you got this left side panel. If you want to click through a set of symbols that you like to trade, maybe you just got a handful, you can do it super quickly by just clicking through on the watch list here to different symbols. Or you can also use our preset watch list here at the bottom. In this case, I have a preset watch list called demo. But if we were to, and let's just pull that up. If we were to go here, over here, and then click on the drop down, you're going to see a bunch of preset watch lists. So if you're a Tasty Live viewer, you really love Tom and Tony, you can actually pull up their watch list, maybe see what they're trading. So Tom Sosnov's watch list here, you can pull that up and see all of the symbols that Tom likes to track. We'll start out with futures, and then we'll see all the different symbols here as well. And you can just scroll with your mouse wheel, or you can click on this little gray bar here and scroll up and down as well, depending on what you're using. Maybe if you're on a laptop, you don't have a mouse, then you would click here and drag up and down. And as you're going through these preset watch lists, again, we can click on a symbol and boom, it's our active symbol at the top of the platform. One little tidbit that I like to show as well, if you did have your right-hand side panel open, we go back over here, this little arrow over here in the top right of the platform, go ahead and click on this arrow, and then we see that cat is also showing up on our right side panel. We get a little mini chart. Don't worry, this isn't our main chart. This is just a little abbreviated chart. And then also some quote details as well, things like the open price or information that you might see at the top of the platform, and some more like the upcoming dividend date as well. Just highlight that for you folks. You can see, okay, what kind of dividends do we have coming up on here? What was the 52 weeks low? What was the 52-week high? Also maybe the correlation to SPY as well. So all good information on the symbol in this right-hand panel. As you are clicking through symbols in your watch list, this right-hand panel updates as well. So the active symbol is really important to understand on the platform. Based on the active symbol you have at the top, the rest of the information on the platform is going to update to that symbol, either it be the chart, the right-hand panel, the options table, or anything else. So, and that's where the watch list comes in really nice. So just really quickly, as you guys are getting set up, I know you guys really want to have the list of symbols you want to look at or maybe keep track of. And two of those that I would definitely have up there is that if you have a lot of positions open and you want to see information on those positions on your left side, or to flick through those positions on the trade table, you go to the positions watch list here at the bottom, positions, and this shows us all the symbols that we have open positions on. So we have a position open in our IVN, we have a position open in NIO, and Lyft, and Coinbase as well. Or we go all the way to the bottom, we see this is actually a created watch list. You might not see anything there right now. If we click on the, let's pull that up. If we click on this little gear icon, you see, try and get a couple arrows going there because it can be hard to see, but this gear icon will actually open up our platform settings. So if we go ahead and click on the settings gear icon, we are taken to the watch list module or the watch list settings. And right now we're looking at the left sidebar columns. So these are the columns that you can either view or take off. In this case, let's pull that up. This section would be the columns that we're seeing on the platform. And these are the columns that we could potentially put onto our watch list on the left. If you remember the earlier, you saw the bid and ask column. So those are the first two columns at the top. If we were to click through our pages, which I'll show you in a second, you can look at other information as well. But we wanted to, and then also just to show you how you could adjust this, if you wanted to get rid of the net change percent or the percent change in the price of the underlying for the day, you can left click, hold, drag, and then drop. So if it's showing red, you're removing it. If it's showing green, you're adding it. In this case, we're removing net change percent. Now we're not going to see it anymore. And maybe we want to add in the symbols beta. We could add that in right there. We're just clicking, dragging, and dropping to our displayed area. So it's labeled displayed on the left, right here, and then also not displayed on the right there. So you just kind of drag and drop. That's going to be the same exact functionality when you're adjusting columns pretty much anywhere on the platform, either if you're on the positions tab, if you're on the trade tab or anything like that. It's always kind of that functionality where on the left, you got your displayed information, on the right, not displayed, and then you click, drag, and drop to either not displayed or displayed, and whatever is at the top of your list is going to be the first thing displayed on your columns. So let's go then here to lists really quickly. Got my drawing tool up. There we go. So this is how we could create a watch list. If you want to make your own watch list, we go in the watch list settings, we click on lists here, this little tab, and then let's just add a symbol. In this case, maybe Apple. You type it in, press enter, and we're going to see Apple here. Maybe I go, okay, I want a new list. Let's create a new list. And click on this button here that says add new list, this green button that I have my mouse cursed over. Boom. And then it'll prompt you to set a new watch list name. In this case, let's just do demo 2. So demo 2 will be our new watch list. It'll say add Apple to demo 2. Okay, boom, we can do that. And now we've created our new watch list. This is a very bare bones way of creating your watch list if you want to do it kind of ground up and keep adding symbols over time. But there is a feature as well. If you have a CSV file and you just have a list of symbols, then you can import it in and automatically have curated watch lists. So that's something that a lot of people like to do. Maybe you got a friend that's got a really great watch list, you can import it into your own platform and view those symbols as well. In this case, we're just going to click on go OK at the bottom left here in our settings, and that will take us back into our watch list. If we actually go ahead and expand the watch list a little bit, we'll see that that beta column got added. It was our third item on our list. And then also if we click our arrow here on this section, get a little drawing again. These little arrows here are actually going to be your watch list pages. So as you're clicking these arrows, you're going to get your different pages of watch lists, of information that you want to see. At its base, you're going to see the bid and the ask, and then beta. If you are placing underlying stock orders or futures orders, I highly recommend that you leave bid and ask here for now. I'll show you how it works later, but this will help you set up stock orders or outright futures orders very, very quickly based on symbols in your watch list. Let's also quickly take a look at the watch list that we just made, demo 2 at the bottom. Scrolling all the way down on our curated watch list, this little drop down here, demo 2. And we see that we only had Apple in there. We wanted to add other symbols at the very bottom of our watch list tab here. See in the yellow box, you can type in any symbol you want. Maybe in this case, we'll add in TSM. You'll see a list of symbols that have the same lettering. You can click on that there or just press enter. And now TSM is on our watch list. Additionally, if we wanted to, filter that watch list, you could click on the headers here and actually filter by ascending or descending order or alphabetical order as well. So in this case, clicking on symbol right here in the top left, you can switch the alphabetical order, or you can do it by increasing or decreasing, say, beta or correlation to SPY. And you can say, okay, I want to just look at a list of symbols that has high beta right now or low beta, and you can kind of filter through your watch list, scroll through there. So nice features. Watch list isn't going anywhere, so definitely get yourself familiar. Try and get a list of symbols that you have on there, or just added space. Just setting the positions watch list is really nice as well. So you're going, okay, why did I want to leave bid and ask on there? That's going to transition perfectly into talking about setting up a stock order. And right now it's 3:47 Central. So it actually means that we're in the extended hour trading session. So at tastytrade, there is a pre-market session that is going to be from 7:30 a.m. Central, Chicago time, to 8:30 a.m. Central when the market opens. And then there is an hour after from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we still got 12 minutes of the extended hour session. Just for an example, let's show you how you could quickly set up a stock order. At its base, when you're looking at the platform, you're like, where's the buy button? Like, how is this? This is kind of convoluted. Like, how can I not just set up a stock order super easily? But it's just a little basic understanding of what bid and ask stand for. So if we go on our watch list, either on the left here, my little friendly drawing tool, if we go over on our watch list, we see bid and ask here, these columns. And then you can also see it in our top area of our header here for TSM, or also located on our right side panel. So there's quite a few places. These numbers that you see on each of these areas are actually buttons that you can click on to set up an order. So in this case, if we wanted to set up a buy order in the world of trading, ask would be, the ask price would indicate, where we want to set up our buy order. On the bid, that would be selling. So if you wanted to set up a buy order for TSM, you could do so by clicking on the ask price. So in this case, the ask price up here, let's just circle that so people are seeing where I'm clicking. The ask price up here, if I wanted to set up a long stock order, I can just go ahead and click on the button there. And boom, at the bottom of our screen, you're going to see an order ticket populated. In this case, I have a default order quantity for stock of just 1 share. I'll show you guys in a little bit how you can change your default order quantities, but I'm sure a lot of you, if you're following along, you'll see 100 shares for that underlying. So what you can do is look at your order ticket here and essentially just ignore the top section of that trade table. Say you wanted to set up a covered call, that'd be a reason why you'd interact with the trade table up here that I'm marking right there. But for the most part, if you're just, you just want to place a stock order, you can ignore this top area while your order ticket is open. Just focus on this bottom area here. This is your order ticket for your stock order. We're going to see some information on the trade, specifically the buying power effect for the trade, how much buying power is being held up to open this position. In this case, it's half the notional value, which means we're holding the position on the margin. The notional value of this would just be about $87 because that's the price of 1 share. But in this case, we only got to put up half the amount in buying power to actually hold the position. We're also going to see some information on max loss and max profit. If TSM were to go into the moon, which would be amazing, we could get maximum profit or actually infinite profit. And I would be sure to share it with you all. But that probably is going to happen. So you could somewhat ignore that to an extent. You'll always see, an infinite loss or infinite profit based on if you're shorting or going long shares. It's information that you don't need to worry about too much. Same with delta and theta. This is more applicable to the options trades. A delta of 1 means that you got 1 share of that underlying. And then you also have some more metrics that are all more applicable to options trades. For the most part, you can just focus on your order ticket here. And say we wanted to change the amount of shares in our order. There's this area right here, and then there's also an area over here. You can click on either of these areas, and there's a little arrow on this side or an arrow on this side, and you can click the arrow either up or down, and that will adjust your quantity of shares. And then also, and you see how the delta here in the middle is updating. We got 4 shares, 4 deltas. Also, the buying power effect is updating. You know, we're getting more shares, require more buying power. Max profit still infinite. Let's go. But if we wanted to quickly type in, you know, I'm like starting at 1 and I want to buy 100 shares, you can just click on this, left click, and then click delete or type delete, and then type in 100 and press enter. And now you have an order for 100 shares. Or you can click on these little arrows in the middle of the order ticket as well, change your quantity of shares. In this case, let's just buy 1 share of TSM in the extended hour. We still got 8 minutes. You're going to see some more information on your trade, some undo, redo buttons if you want to change your actions or you made a misclick. And then there's also a clear button. Let me get the tool for that. This little clear button, if you wanted to completely get rid of this trade, get this order ticket off your screen, get it gone, you can click on clear there and you get it off your screen. I'll show you real quick. It's super quick. You click on clear and boom, it's off your screen. If you're like, okay, I didn't mean to click clear, I want this stock order again, all you got to do is just go to the top of the platform on that ask, or just for use case, just showing you how it works on the watch list as well. If we wanted to do this for Google, you can click on the ask price for Google right there, and boom, we got 1 share of Google set up at the bottom. Next to the price of the actual order ticket, let's clear out our drawings there. Next to the price of the order ticket, which is right here, in this case, it's 89.91 based on the ask price that we clicked on, that you could adjust either with these arrows here, or you could type it in as well. Say you wanted to only buy Google when it hits $86 or lower, you could set the order for $86. And then there's order type and time in force. In this case, since it's extended hour, we will click on EXT. So if you're trading stock, trying to buy or sell stock during that hour before or hour after the market open and close, you would change the order type to EXT, and then that will be a limit order as well. So in this case, let's just try getting a fill. So I'm going to place a little bit above the market at 89.92. Just so we get a fill. If we wanted to then send our order, we can click review and send. Don't worry. And that I'll go back really quick because that was a very fast click. Sorry if lost you there, folks. But we're clicking review and send down here to go to our review order ticket area. And that's where we're going to get a breakdown then on all of our order here. We got 1 Google buy stock, 1 BTO. So if you see BTO there, this little BTO, that stands for buy to open. Always good to double check it. We're also going to see the account that we're placing the trade in. So in this case, we're placing a trade in our account called Tasty Bob, and it's also ending in the number 01. So you might have multiple accounts open. Good to double check that you're placing the trade in the right account. We're also going to get a breakdown on buying power that we have available, and then also information on our order ticket. What's the commission and fee breakdown? Got $0 to open and close stock, so $0 commission. And then there's like a fraction of a penny pass-through fees by the exchange and in clearing firms. But if we wanted to go ahead, we could just send this order, or we could clear the order or click edit order. That's just going to take you to the screen that we were just in, where you could change the price again, you could change the quantity. In this case, before the extended hour session ends, let's just send the order. And actually, see, the market did change a little bit. So let's go back and edit our order. We're going to click on that. We're going to type in a new number. Let's do 94. Click on our review and send. Now we see that limit order price actually got updated in our order ticket there too. So just good to always double check, make sure you didn't fat finger type in the wrong trade, and then you can click on send order. Boom. And then in the top left, you'll see we had our working order, and because we placed it at a relatively high price, we got filled right away, which is very nice. So I see a couple questions coming in. Hey, are we going to review options? Yes, we are. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. I just wanted to get through a stock trade here because the market's going to close. So appreciate your patience. We'll get to it really, really soon. Talk about the order chains tab too, which is a tool that all of you could definitely get a lot of advantage from in your in your trading, especially if you're doing rolls, stuff like that. So I also see a question coming, what are the pre-market hours? It's just an hour before the market open, and then our post-market is hour after. We're looking to expand that by a couple hours actually later this year, but for now it's just 7:30 to 8:30 Central or 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central. So an hour before, an hour after. See Anthony tossed in a little link there. Definitely go check it out, and you can see how to place a extended hour order in that guide as well. So next, now that we have placed our stock order, let's check it out. Let's see, okay, where is our stock? If we go ahead and click on our positions tab, and let me get my little drawing tool, our positions tab right here, if you click on that, you're going to get taken to your main home page where this is going to be what you see when you first open up the platform. It's just your positions tab. You might not see anything here, and that would just indicate that you don't have any positions open. But you will also see working orders as well. So if you have any resting working orders, you'll see those ones too. And it's all based on your filters in the positions tab. So at the top here in the positions tab filter, right now we're viewing stocks, options, and futures. And then we're not viewing bonds and working orders. So if we went ahead and clicked on working or bonds, then we would view any working orders or bonds that we had. Right now we don't have any on there, but just for example purposes, let's go ahead and open up Goog. So we just clicked on the drop down here, and we'll see we have our one share that we just bought. Right now you actually see two accounts on the screen. In this case, we placed it in our purple guy that ends in 01, which is this position right here. And then you're going to see some more information on the actual trade. You know, what's your profit or loss? We'll talk about it in a second. But if you wanted to manage that position, you know, maybe check out the profit or loss, you do so in the positions tab here. If I just want to show you what a working order would look like in there, let's see if I can, oops, I have my drawing tool. Let's see if we can fire off one really quick. Let's do it at 88. Extended hour, boom, boom. And now we have a working order quite under the market price here, and you see that working designation. Let's just draw a little drawing tool just so you see it, this working order right here. If we didn't want to view our working order, we could click the filter at the top of the screen where my mouse is right there. This one right here. You click on it, now you won't see your working orders anymore. So if you want to see everything, just make sure that these filters are all selected. I know you can sometimes run into trouble where you're like, I don't see my stock positions at all. Make sure that you got this filter at the top selected. It can cause a little bit of confusion sometimes. So if we wanted to quickly cancel our order, just to show you for stock while we're in here, you can actually right click on this position here or this order here, and it's going to give you a quick action menu. We can cancel, we could replace the order with a different price. In this case, let's just get rid of it. Let's cancel it. Boom. Cancel. If it wants to go through. There we go. We're able to cancel our order. We're out of our Google order there, and we no longer see it in our positions tab. And then if you wanted to see just a quick audit log of those transactions, there's a couple places where you can do that. You can do it in the activity tab, the overview tab. In this case, what I really like is when you have your right side panel open here, as you're going through the trades, see this area down here, you'll see all those actions that we just took. The order we placed, that we got a fill on, the order we then canceled. If you had any closing orders, that's all going to pop up on the right side here. But there's also an activity tab I'll show in the middle here shortly that shows you where you can help manage positions. And kind of like our positions tab here, if you were to right click on this bottom right hand side, you'll get that quick action menu as well. If you say wanted to place a similar order, place the same exact trade that you did before, or the opposite, maybe you'll want to short it now, you can do that through the activity tab or this just little right side panel here. What's interesting and something I want to jump into next while we're talking about just stock orders is our charts and just like kind of getting discovery on different underlyings that you want to place a trade on. If we go down to our chart tab here, and that's this little icon at the bottom, there's actually a couple different charts. There's the one we had in the top right here, We also have this chart that I just pointed to, and then there's also a third icon. This is Tasty Charts. If you want to have multiple windows, we'll pop them all open here in a second. But in this case, let's just open up our main chart, which is just our chart tab. If you were to scroll over your mouse over this section as well, over these icons, eventually it will show you the name of the icon. So in this case, we're clicking on the chart tab. While you're in your chart here, we got a couple things going on. We got an indicator. That's why you see some additional dots there, a little study within our chart. But as well, you're going to see that position that we just opened, the cost basis for that position. So we just bought one share of Google at 89.91, and that will be our cost basis. So you can kind of look based on, okay, where did I buy my shares at? Where is it trading at now? Maybe you determine a stop point or something like that. But just to quickly go over the chart while we're here, and that's just to show you again for the folks that didn't see, we got to the chart tab down here, this button here. But I know a lot of you are technicians, love your charts, you want your studies in there. Well, we got quite a lot of studies. We have over 350 studies and indicators on our charts. If you click on the little indicator icon in the top left of our chart window, right there, you open that up there, left click, you'll get a little pop-up window. And then on the left, you're going to see a list of all of our possible charts or studies actually. And then you're going to see your current indicators as well. So I see Lucia, if I pronounce that correctly, you can quickly clear out all of your indicators. Say if you have the volume bars on your chart there, you can click on clear all, or there's actually a little X button too. So I believe what you're seeing there is like a, oops, sorry, I'm trying to get the drawing tool here. I'm not gonna be able to draw with the Zoom while I have this pop-up open, but it's this little X button over here. You can delete that. Let me see if I can pull up volume here. Volume bar, I believe it's either main graph or subgraph. You might have that on there. So you might see these two volumes. And how I added those is that I searched it up. I clicked on the left side, and then there's an add selected button at the bottom. So I clicked on volume subgraph, clicked on add selected, and then it added to my current indicators on the right. And that's where you're going to see, the volume bars there. If you just wanted to get rid of them, you could click on the X, and now it's gone from our chart, or you can just click clear all, and that gets rid of all the indicators. What you can also do, which is quite nice, just to show you again, is you can play around with all the parameters of any of these indicators, either be the time length, period, or how certain things are getting calculated, and then also the colors as well. And there's an ability to save that indicator. It's a default. So if you have a bunch of default parameters on a certain kind of expected move or volume weighted average price, you can do so through this little settings icon or settings area for indicators. And what's cool is, let's see, what kind of stuff do we got? We got an anchored view up. Let's just do like RSI, maybe SMA. Let's do a little simple moving average, and then let's also toss in IV rank. So IVR. Click on add selected. And just to show you how this works really quick, let's get rid of our volume graph. Right now we see on the top chart this little blue line, and now I can finally draw again. This little blue line that you might see there, that is our simple moving average. You actually see it on our chart there. It's giving you the value of where your mouse is. Right now, because I have the drawing tool open, it's not updating, but the information in this top left panel is going to update based on where your mouse is on the chart, tell you what value it is. And then at the bottom here, we also have IV rank as well, and that's going to show you the highs and lows for IV rank for the symbol. If you wanted to add or kind of put these drawings on top of each other, it's super easy. All you got to do is just click over this, left click, and then drag and drop below. If I did that properly, yes, it should. Let's try something different here. Maybe IBR is not the best example. It's like a MACD line. There we go. Okay, well, Zoom is absolutely bugging out my laptop here. Sorry, it actually sounds like a jet engine, just because I got a lot of stuff open in the background. But generally, you'd be able to then drag and drop your SMA over to different areas. I think in this case, SMA is just being a little janky there for a second. So apologies on that. It's honestly just my computer being a slight piece of garbage. So appreciate the patience, but you'd be able to drag and drop and add multiple indicators on top of each other if you want to see certain levels. And we're looking to add in more indicators all the time. If you do have a favorite indicator that you would love to see on the chart, feel free to reach out to us at tech@tastytrade.com. We'll definitely look to get it added. In terms of, that was just indicators. You can also set up drawings as well. So show that really quick. This little area in our tools section, you can set up drawings. So I saw someone wanted some regression channels. You can do so like that and draw those in. So based on the drawing that you're clicking here, in one case, maybe you want to do a gain loss line. Say, I want to left click on this point at the top, and then click down here, see what kind of change in price that was. Okay, from there to there, from June 1st or June 9th to April 4th, there was about a negative 17.29 change in price. So same goes with all these other drawings that you see here, Fibonacci retracements, a lot of very complicated stuff that you can get into if you're a technician, or you can just do some simple stuff like the price change, or maybe you want to set some price levels for stop order entry or something along those lines. All great drawing tools. And if you wanted to delete a line there, you can click on it, left click, and then right click, and you could go duplicate drawing. If you want to make another one, exact copy, or you could just do remove drawing, and that will get rid of your drawing. There's also an ability to remove all your drawings as well. So we just did that there. Just a right click and then a left click to do that. And then one more thing that I know I want to show off here, do like a little rectangle. If you go ahead and double click on the actual drawing itself, that's going to pull up the drawings parameters, kind of like what we saw in the indicators tab. It's going to show you, the style, what color, where you can get with that. And then also the coordinates as well. And then, if you get a little more advanced, like rectangle is very basic, where it's just coordinates of a rectangle. If you're getting like Fibonacci retracement stuff, there's a lot of parameters that you can edit, and that would be within this window here. And kind of like our indicators, you can just save certain drawings as defaults. If you have certain parameters that you like set for your drawings, then you can keep reusing them. You don't have to keep typing it in every single time. Charting's definitely been something that we've been pushing out a ton of improvements throughout the year. Something we're trying to get better every single day, or at least every single update. So there's a lot more coming. We're definitely putting a lot more resources into expanding our charting package. So definitely keep your eye out for some more great additions, and love your guys' feedback on, hey, I want to see this on the chart. Hey, I want to see this. Almost everything you see on the chart here is a result of customer feedback saying, hey, I'd really love to see this. Hey, this isn't working like that. It should work like that. We'll look into it. Got it added. So love customer feedback. We just kind of want to tailor the platform to what you want. So that's the end goal there with charting. But while we are in the charts really quickly, just to show you, we have the aggregation as well. So in this case, we're looking at a chart over 1 year on Google, with each tick showing 1 day's worth of data. So you can adjust that to a shorter time frame, all the way down to 1M, lowercase m, that is 1 minute. And then it might auto adjust your longer, over what period. If you looked at 1 minute data over a year, it would get a little laggy, to say, just based on how much data is actually fitting in there. So your actual period of how long you're looking at it is going to update based on your aggregation. But for the most part, you can adjust it, be like, oh yeah, I want to look at 1 minute data. Each tick is a minute over 1D, which stands for 1 day, or maybe just today. And then at the bottom here, let me just get a little, sorry if I was going fast, but at the bottom here, there's a scroll bar, and you can check out the rest of the time that's there. So the idea is that it's like, if you did 1 minute data over a year, the scroll bar would be huge. It's like, okay, what are you what are we getting here? But other than that, you can also change the chart type as well. So we have a couple different chart types. Maybe, for example, you wanted to look at a tick chart. You can do so by selecting the chart type there as well, something that we are adding a bunch as well. So tech@tastytrade.com. Anthony and Andy can toss it in chat, but definitely send us your feedback, and we'd love to add anything that you guys want on the chart here. So that's a basic chart overview. Next, let's go back into our positions tab. We're hitting 412. So we're doing decent on timing. Probably going to go another like 15 minutes here, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. And I'll try and get into options trading for you all. But I want to show you really quickly how you could reconcile your profit or losses. It's like, you know, you've gone on your watch list tab, you've gone on your chart, you found a symbol that you want to trade, maybe based on certain indicators. You're like, oh, this is my buy signal, I want to buy. Or based on your table, you place your trade, got it going, you eventually close it out, and you're going, okay, well, now how do I get my profit or loss on that trade? So if we wanted to look at some examples here, and just to show you what a closing order might look like as well, before we get to reconciling profit or losses, is that if we check out that one share we just opened on Google, this entire row is actually for that one share. We go ahead and left click, and then to select that position, and then right click, we're going to get our quick action menu again, where we can place different kinds of orders. There, you could just place a classic closing position order. You could also analyze the position, so you know what kind of profit potentials, loss potentials based on the underlying price movement. Or you can place a bracket order, which is called one cancels the other, or one triggers, one cancels the other. And in this case, a bracket order, you can set a take profit and a stop loss order as well. So if you kind of want to place protection on both sides. But if we wanted to set up just a closing order, right click, left click to close position, and now we have a basic closing order ticket at the bottom. In this case, I'm down to just close this wherever the market is trading at the next market open. So I could change this order type to market, and then we click on review and send. We get a little breakdown of our closing order ticket, and you also see a little notification there that's saying like, hey, market's closed, your order will begin the next session. But then we also get the little confirmation, okay, we're selling our Google stock, STC, that stands for sell to close. We're closing the position, and then we're getting our breakdown on, okay, how much buying power am I getting back into my account? What kind of commissions and fees am I paying? What kind of order type is it right there? But if we wanted to just go ahead and send that closing order, we can click send order. And now we have a working closing order on Google. So that's how you could quickly close a position. If you had a multi-legged options position, just to show you kind of the same procedure right here on Apple as well. If I were to left click over here on both of these rows, that will select both legs. So if I wanted to place an order on just one of these legs, I could click on one. In this case, it's a vertical spread. I want to close it together. You can click on both there, and then left click both, right click, and then you have your quick action menu again, where you can close the position, maybe close at a certain profit percent. Also for options, there's rolling and that analysis tab that we talked about that I'll show in a little bit. But that's how quickly you can close a position. You just do it through your positions tab, which is very nice. But say you wanted to check out your profit or loss on that position. The easiest way to do that is by reconciling through the platform's history tab. And just before we touch options here, just want to show you this. But in the history tab, which is this guy right here in the bottom, if you scroll your mouse over, you'll see that. But if you click on history, then that's going to pull up all transactions in your account since you started it. It's going to show you all the trades, any dividends you received, interest on your cash balance, exercise, assignments, futures, mark to market, funding, corporate actions, name changes, any stuff like that is all going to show up in the history tab. So it's a really good location to kind of go back and look at your trade, see what's been going on. And then also you're going to get a breakdown on your commissions and fees paid as well. But in a case of let's check out just like the profit or loss on a stock order here. If we go to the symbol search area, we can type in a symbol that we want to filter for. In this case, I'm going to look for an old trade in Ford. And then you can also change the date filter and be like, okay, I want to look back on a certain amount of days or on a type. So you can be like, I only want to look at withdrawals. I only want to look at trades, something along those lines. So in this case, I want to look at all possible actions. So trades, all that good jazz. And then also I want to look back the past 60 days. So show me what's going on over the past 60 days. So in this case, we actually had placed a Ford trade in one of our last demos, and you can see both of those orders there. One was on the 25th, and then we closed it out the day after on the 26th. But if you look, you're going to see, okay, what's the amount of money that I paid to buy those shares, and what did I receive for selling? And then to the left of that as well, you're going to get a breakdown on, okay, what's my commissions and fees on those trades too. At the very top is going to be the total for all those line items. So in this case, we're just looking at 2 line items. So it's going to show us the total of both those at the top. In this case, we got a $33 profit on the trade, but also we could click on these. Oops, sorry, I had the wrong field selected. If you click on both of these as well, that will make sure it's selected. So say we were looking back maybe year to date. Do we have any more? 120. So we got like a lot more trades in Ford. If you only wanted to look at the last 2 line items, you could click on both, and then you see in the top left there, it's going to show you the total profit on that position if you selected your opening and closing leg. Same applies if you wanted to select other trades within here. Say like you want to be like, okay, from this trade and this trade, what's the net profit or loss? Or if you just deselect them all, then it's going to say, okay, based on the last 120 days, you've lost about $48. Hopefully Scott doesn't fire me. We'll see. We'll find out soon. But yeah, that's just an easy way to go through your profit or losses. But you could also go to this year-to-date section up at the top here, this little button there, and that's going to give you a breakdown of your realized and unrealized gain for each of your symbols that you've traded in for the year, and then also net commissions and fees. And then what's really nice too, I know a lot of people look for this, is, what is my P&L year to date from the start of the year with commissions and fees added into it as well. So that's all information that you can grab there. You can also download a CSV file of that information if you wanted to export it into, say, Excel or something like that, process it yourself, do a little analysis. You can click on that CSV button there. Also, if we go back to our transactions tab, you'll see another, and I clicked on this button here to go back to where we were. And then this was the page that we were just at. But if you go here and click on CSV, that will download a file of all your transactions. So just for some people that like to reconcile on their own. So same applies with options. You got your opening trade, you got your closing trade, you click both, you can find out what your profit or loss is. If you have multiple rolling trades or a lot of different legs, you just select those, you can go through. There's also a way to do it through the platform's activity tab, which is kind of like our history tab here, where you can quickly kind of go through your past transactions based on opening and closing. It's just that the history tab that we're looking at, this area actually does it in terms of dollars instead of premium, especially if you're trading futures and you're like, I got a bunch of different futures multipliers going on. Generally, reconciling in the history tab is the easiest way to do it, especially after a position's been closed. While a position is open and you want to see your profit or loss, you do that in the positions tab here. So really quickly, I just want to show you the positions tab columns. This is for our open positions. You can see stuff like profit or loss, what kind of delta or theta for options, the change in price or the change in profit or loss. You can also see a days until expiration, DTE. So, if you want to keep track and be like, okay, what kind of positions do I need to manage today? I got some expirations coming up, like maybe, 3 days on FSLR. Maybe we need to manage that soon. Same goes with, what is this, NEO. 3 days until expiration. It's like, okay, cool. Kind of a signifier that's like, okay, cool. Probably might need to check out what's going on with those positions, make sure that I manage it before expiration if I need to. Similar to our watch list, we can have multiple pages. So this area up here right now, I have just like a ton of columns on my position tab. If you click on the pages, these arrows, you'll filter through different information. And then if we were to get that drawing off my screen, there we go. If we were to go over here and click on the settings gear icon and the top right, those arrows right there, that's going to take us to the positions tab settings. And just like our watch list, when we saw at the start, you're doing that drag and drop action, changing the order based on the pages. If you don't want to see quote last, drag drop over to not displayed. You want to see your net Vega, drag it over to displayed, click OK, and boom, now we see our Vega column there. So you can customize it, see whatever you want on your positions tab, the most applicable information to you. There's a ton of columns with really great information. You can take off as many as you want. You can add as many as you want, make as many pages. It just depends on what you want to see on your screen or your screen space. So that is a brief overview of our positions tab here. Next, I just wanted to touch on some options trading and just some basics to getting to options trading, some functionality here is that when you go to the trade tab here, that's where you're going to be placing options. And again, the trade tab that we're looking at right now is on Google. It's our active symbol. But if we wanted to pull up the options for, say, let's go check out our good friend TSM. We can pull up the options chain for TSM here because it's our active symbol. We just clicked on it in our watch list. And we're going to see the options chain below. And we're going to see some more information here, just some stuff to go over. We're in the table mode. And this is going to show us all the expirations that is listed for TSM. In this case, we got like, 20 or so. The ones that are grayed out and have this W, just get rid of those. These ones, these are weekly expirations. That means that it's expirations listed throughout the week. And then just the regular ones in kind of the white outline, those are our monthly expirations for this underlying. In the middle, you can see the days until expiration. So if we go to, based on March 17th, 17 days until then, that's the days until expiration. And then also on our right side, we're going to see the implied volatility for each expiration, and then also the expected move for each expiration. This is really good detail. I'll help show you how you can use this information for setting up an earnings play. So right here, we're also seeing a blue D line. You're thinking, what's that? That's actually a dividend date. So there is a dividend coming up for March 16th for TSM. And then also E, if you could infer that's going to be for earnings. So the purple E is that we got earnings coming up April 13th. So you can use this information to set up a trade. Maybe you're like, I want to, how do I add option chain columns? Good question. Thank you for asking. Just to stop myself, sorry, I'm going a little fast here, folks, but you might not see a lot of columns here, and it's strictly based on your platform's resolution. So if you're working on a smaller laptop, you're probably just going to see the 4 columns on each side. If you're working on a big monitor and you go full screen, you could see up to 6 columns on each side. So it's strictly based on your resolution, but just because someone asked and I want to show you all, I think it'd be useful if you guys want to set up. If we go to our settings gear icon here really quickly, click on that, and then we go to general. And then at the bottom here, oh yeah, the pop-up's not gonna work. We can change our zoom level. So we can either zoom in or zoom out. In this case, if you wanted to see more columns, you would go to like an 80% zoom or a 90% zoom, and that might fill in more information. In this case, let's zoom in a little bit so it's a little easier to see. But that's how you can get more columns on there. Generally, just getting a bigger monitor and going full screen will also add in more columns too. Same applies for our tasty charts that I'll show here in a second. But let's just quickly set up this earnings trade that I was talking about, because it's really interesting when you get to visualize a trade on here. So in this case, let's set up a strangle. So this is, this could be a delta neutral, which means that I don't really care if the price goes up or down. I just wanted to stay within a certain kind of range of price. That's where I wanted to profit at. Maybe you're thinking, okay, this earnings announcement, it's getting blown up. you know, people are thinking that the volatility is just way too much. It's the news isn't going to do too much. I think I want it to profit if it stays around the same price or just trade sideways. You can do so, say, with a strangle, or some of our other strategies. So, just in the case of an earnings trade, we're going to place the at the expiration right after the earnings. So in this case, the closest expiration after the earnings is our April 21st expiration in 52 days. We click on the drop down here, we're going to pull up all the strike prices. At first, you might not see all these strike prices. You can edit the amount of strikes that you're viewing here. You can view all of the strikes available. It's just a little bit more scrolling up or down, or you can just view a certain subset of strikes. I know for those of you that like to set up calendar spreads on options, setting this to say like 8 strikes might make it a little bit easier for than having 2 expirations open at the same time and placing that trade together. So just something to keep in mind that you can change. In this case, let's do 10 strikes. In this case, we wanted to set up a strangle. So there's 2 ways to set up an option strategy on the table. You could either use the strategy selector menu here at the top. So if I get my drawing tool, click here, this area right here at the top, you can click up here and you can go ahead and click on this drop down arrow and you're going to see all the different strategies. So I saw someone going in there, hey, how do I set up a vertical option spread? How do I set up an iron condor on the table? You can do it super, super easily through this strategy selector menu. You can either toggle between long and call. So say we wanted to set up a short vertical put spread. Let's do that. What you can do is you can toggle long here, click on the long button, and that's now short. We're at put. If we did want call, we could click on put, and that's toggles to call, but we'll just click again to go back to put. And then vertical, and if we click go, now we have a default order for a vertical put spread on our table. And as we're going through, we see the information on our trade. We can left click, drag and drop and change the width of our strikes. Also within the order ticket menu here at the bottom, all these different buttons here are going to make it so that, you know, you can change the width of your strikes, widen it out. You could, you know, keep the same width and go up in or down in price or up in price, either or. And same with quantity too. Maybe I want to do 2 spread or just do 1 spread. And then there's also expiration buttons as well. So right now we're in the April 21st. We clicked on plus time. You actually see that now we're in the May 19th. So let's go back to April 21st. And just in this case, because I wanted to show you how you can use the expected move, let's do a strangle. So someone said like iron condor, how do you set up an iron condor? Same goes. You can go to your normal iron condor, click go, and that'll set up a basic iron condor order for you there. And you can drag and change the strike prices based on your order criteria. In this case, we wanted a profit here if come April 21st after this earnings, that it continues, TSM stays at the same area. If you look at the actual table here, you're going to see a couple different pieces of information. First, you're going to see this orange bar, and that is actually the expected move for that chain, and that correlates to this number here at the top. Let's get that arrow. So 7.37 is the expected move. It's saying that over the next 52 days, based on a 1 standard deviation probability, that the price of the underlying is going to go up or down 7.37. And that's shown on this table here as above and below the current price, which is this little like green donut that you might see there. This little green donut there is the last price. So 7.37 above or below is that expected move. And we can use this and go, okay, I think that the price of this underlying is going to stay, like, you know, I'm kind of statistician. I think it's going to stay between my expected move. What you could do is then go, okay, well, I want to then select my strikes for this order right outside the expected move. What you could do here is click on the bid price to actually set up a sell order on the call side here. So if we clicked on, say we want to do the 95 strike right at the lower or higher bound of the expected move, we can click on 1.64 on the bid. And now that is selling the 95 strike. And then on the flip side, if we go to the put side and go over to say the 80 strike and click on that there on the bid price, we are selling that leg, and boom, we now have a strangle setup. I could do the same exact thing and go to the strategy selector menu at the top here, short, strangle, click go. Oops, didn't RMA 16, yeah, here. And go, there we go. And now we have the same order that I just had up earlier, just slightly different strikes. And then you can drag and drop and change the strike prices that you're at. What you're gonna see here though, is that based on your strike selection, you're gonna get some interesting, probability of profits or like, where's my break even points? And these blue dotted lines that you might see on your screen here, this indicates a 1 standard deviation move. This line that's a little wider, 2 standard deviations. So this is the 1 standard deviation move on the top side, 1 standard deviation move on the bottom side, and then 2 SD on the bottom as well. And then if we look on the left side of our table, and this is where it's like you can visualize all this stuff within the trade table. See this red and green bar? That's actually our profit or loss zones for the trade. And it's indicating where our break-even points are. So right now, our actual break-even point is right at that 1 standard deviation line above and below our expected move. And this is very granular. You're like, okay, it's just showing a green or red line. But as you're dragging and dropping your legs here, you can see how adjusting your order based on the strike you're selecting is going to change your break-even point at expiration. If we go a little bit wider, our break-even points are a little bit wider. If we get in closer, our break-even points are a little bit tighter as well. But in this case, we just want to do like a 1 standard deviation move. Perfect. And then once you've had that set up, if you want a more granular look at it, you can click on analysis here, or actually curve first. And this is going to kind of give you a different style to look at it, where it's kind of like a sideways options chain here, where you got your expected move in the middle, you have your like profit zone, your loss zone, your legs, and you can click and drag these. Oops, you can click and drag these legs as well, like we were doing on the trade table as you're going through your order ticket. See all the information the order ticket's updating. But if you want to get like that best analysis view, once you're in curve mode here, just draw an area. Once you're in curve mode, once you have your strategy set up, and then click on analysis right here, then you're going to see this true kind of break-even point profit or loss zone graph, where you can see, okay, if TSM were to expire at 70.33, I would be at a profit or loss of about like negative 200 or so. Or if it expired right in the middle of our strikes, we'd be at our max profit of $263. So just nice analysis. Once again, you can completely edit your order ticket as you're in this window. So just a lot of very good actionable information that you're finding within the trade table that will help you make a decision on how you want to set up your trade. And then, you got your Greeks at the bottom if you want a certain amount of theta, or, you want to check your deltas to see if it's directionally biased. In this case, on the way we set up, it's a little negative delta, so it's actually short biased. But, if we wanted to make sure it was delta neutral, maybe we could push up this other side and try and get it, negative 1.23, about as close as we can get. Little short skewed, but it's pretty much delta neutral. So that's how you can play around with options orders. Strategy menu is really great if you're looking to set up stuff for the first time. And folks, just based on time, we're going to wrap it there. This is a very basic overview demo where we just wanted to kind of get you set up, see how you can do the basics, just start out, placing a stock order, getting your watch list set up. What we are looking to do now is host some additional demos. I saw people are talking about, hey, I want to see futures. I want to see a little more in-depth on options. We are going to have some dedicated, 30, 45-minute sessions that will add to that landing page where you signed up. And that will be specific to options trading, specific to futures trading. We'll kind of go through the same steps of how do you want to get set up to trade futures? How do you want to get set up to trade options? Kind of like the best way to do it. Because once again, there's a lot of meat there that you don't necessarily need. There's like, I barely talked about maybe 80% of the platform, and we got a lot done. So it can feel like a lot at first. And, me using it for like 7 years now, I'm like so used to it that I could talk about it so quickly. But in retrospect, it's like, it's not that simple. And that's where we're here to help. And that's where it's like, feel free to hit us up on support@tastytrade.com. Any of our emails. Our help center is fantastic. And I kind of wanted to pull it up here if I could. Our help center If you go to www.tastyworks.com, there's a little help center in the top right. This help center is really great for learning about, account funding, how to place different strategies. Also, let me get rid of that drawing. So if you wanted, we're going to send out a recording of this afterwards, but if you wanted to learn about how do I place a futures order? Well, you can type that in there, and then you got some great search results. Click on that there. And we actually have dedicated videos about how to place these different order types, a walkthrough if you just want to see the text as well. Yeah, it's been really great. It's still kind of getting updated from Tastyworks to tastytrade. Been a little bit slow on doing that, but we're getting there. We're getting there. There's like 400 articles, so it's a lot of updating, a lot of great information that it's how I learned the platform when I first started, was just like learning the help center. So definitely give it a look. Pattern day trading, 25K. Well, if you have that question, type in PDT in the help center, boom. And accounts under 25K, boom, yep, 25K, there you go. And video explaining it all that stuff. So it's really expansive, it's great. But I know some of you like to have that, maybe it's just a lot of reading. Feel free to hit us up. You can also chat in. There's a little chat box here that will take you through some possible solutions, or you could chat into our fellas on the desk as well. And then if you did want our contact information, like give us a call, there is a contact us page on our help center, and that'll list our phone number too. You can give us a call during the week. So any method, we have super quick response times. No one wants to be waiting on a trade, or if there's something wrong with their platform, they got to place it. So yeah. Next, now that we just have a few minutes, start tossing in some questions in the chat, and I'll try and cover it or give like a brief. How do you know if the earnings are morning or evening? Oh, great question. Great question. I love it. So it's actually indicated by, so if you're in the watch list tab here, and this is the, what is this? Yeah, the earnings date indicator, or like column. If you see the bell here, the purple bell, if it's to the right, that is after the close. If the arrow is to the left, that is before the close. So that's how you could know if it's before or after. And how do we get the recording? We're gonna email you guys a link to the recording here, either at the end of the day today, might be a little late, our production team's probably off for the day, but we'll send it to you like very early tomorrow. So it's gonna get your guys' way. But any other questions? How can I take out save chart on the screen, or later have it on again? If you do want to save your chart, so as you're going through the chart window and you're changing things here, you can actually save your settings in the save button in the top right, and then that will pull up a chart that you had before. But generally, any drawings or indicators you had, if you close the platform and then reopen it, it's still going to be there. Same goes with if you're going between our Tasty Charts tab as well. You can have your drawings in here too. This is where you can pull up several charts. Using multiple charts, yeah. And then while we're at it, I know a lot of people are like, I want a chart open while I'm trading options. What you can do is actually pop out this Tasty Charts window. So this is like for folks with bigger monitors or multiple monitors. If you click on the Tasty Charts icon here, and then click on this arrow up here, you can detach the chart window and pull it up into a different window, and then you can have your trade table open at the same time. That's going to be your best alternative for the time being, is that you pull this up over here, and then just on the screen share here, it's not great space, but you can have your table mode open, and then have your charts open in the, where'd it go? Have your charts open in another window or something along those lines. That's usually the best alternative. And then if you want to collapse back in, there's a button right here. Why does my trading platform look different than yours? Gabriel, you are most definitely on our web-based platform then. When you first start up, you might get sent to a web browser that is trade.tastyworks.com or trade.tastytrade.com. That's our web-based platform. It's generally like, if you're on the move, if you don't have access to a desktop, or if you work for a company where they're like super restrictive on, what kind of software you can download on your computer, that's where the web-based platform is nice. We're actually coming out with a brand new version here in a couple months, but you can download let's see if I can pull up Let me just show you where it is really quick. If someone, hey, Jeff, Anthony, if you can you toss the technology page link in the chat there for Gabriel, just to the desktop download link. But yeah, you can download the desktop platform, and that's where it'll look like this. The web-based platform looks a lot different, so I hope this wasn't too bad for you. But I would definitely say, how frequently open interest is updated on the options chain? Open interest is actually like a daily figure that gets updated based on, and I'm trying to remember the technicalities off the top of my head, but in short, it can't be like, in some platforms there is some like proprietary software that's able to like somehow keep track of that intraday, but for the most part, it's like it's just updated once daily at the start of the day based on the previous day's close. So if you email in, we can give a little more in depth. I'm hitting at the end of the day here, so the brain is getting a little throttled, but yeah. So hope that helps. Difference between web and desktop functionality. Web is kind of like a bare bones platform. Like you can still do everything in terms of like placing a trade on the web-based platform, but you're just not going to have the chart tab or multiple charts or like indicators on a chart, or like a right side panel that's kind of like this. For the most part, in terms of like the positions tab, the trade tab, activity, all that stuff's there, history tab, follow tab, all that information is there. It's just in a slightly different layout. Some people prefer it because it was kind of our legacy software and they continue to use it, but I would generally say just like stick to the desktop if you can. And when we release our new web-based trading platform 2.0, it actually looks almost like an exact copy of our desktop platform. So that way you can jump between the two and there isn't really any like loose of like ease of use or anything like that. So apologies for the inconvenience in the meantime, but I'd say stick with the desktop because the web-based browser is going to look just like the desktop really here soon. And that's what we had this demo on. So iPhone or like a mobile app training session. Yes, that is something we're also looking to do and build out some more help center content specifically on mobile. We had like a huge overhaul on our mobile app just in terms of design over the years. So that's where we'll start pushing out a lot of great like mobile content. I know a lot of you like to trade on the go, hopefully not while you're in the car. Don't want to turn a trade ding into a real ding, but yeah. Okay, well, it looks like those are all the questions. Any plans to make T-bills available on the platform? Great question. They already are. You can actually look up, if you go to the help center, just type in T-bills. There's a way, it's a manual process. So it's not like you can buy it really quickly on the platform. You have to reach out to us, provide us like whatever kind of QSIP you want, or, you know, maybe based on a maturity, and then we can place that order manually. So we're looking in like kind of a day two stance to make it super easy for just you to do it yourself. But for now, it's a manual process that you have to email in for. Is there a default candle size? I don't think so. That's a good question. I think it's just, it's simply based on the price movement or the kind of candle type that you have set up there. And there isn't any settings specific to the candles themselves. So I believe the answer would be, the default is that it just tracks based on whatever time frame that you have for that moment. Or I don't know if you're talking about like width wise. Width wise, I don't think you can actually adjust that. Haven't been asked that before. It's a great question, but yeah, for the most part, it's just based on the default there. Can we save options on watch list, which we can buy easy? There is a way to do that. And I always love showing off this one. So if you wanted to see options historical data on the chart, if you go to this chart here and then click, like normally if you wanted to place a trade, you would left click to select that order. But if you say right click on either of the prices, that will actually pull up this view option chart button. And then you can view the options data for that underlying. And, you know, based on the liquidity of the strike, you might not see a lot of data, but if you had a super liquid strike, you'd probably see a bunch of data populated. But that's where you can then actually pull in that information into your watch list. It's not easy, but it's there. Something that we're looking into, but yeah, sorry for the inconvenience of that in the meantime. So it's doable, just kind of do a little janky workaround. Appreciate it, Ben. Thank you. Is there a place where you see a small brief of certain company? So, great question. Oh my gosh, how did I not show this to you guys? So I hope that you guys are still here, but on our right side panel, actually have a news and fundamentals feature. So if you click on news here, you're going to get a list of recent articles on the company. So maybe if you're seeing a bunch of weird price movement for the day, you're like, what's going on? You can click on any of these links. It'll just open it in your default browser. Or also we have our fundamentals tab. And I know from time to time when I have Zoom open, this will take a second to load. But that's where you can view like, you know, a very basic overview of the report over like the past few quarters. But this is, again, like research is another big point that we're trying to expand on. So any feedback on that, on like certain kind of research that you want to see on the platform is great. Yeah, is there a place to see the fundamentals? You would see it right now if my computer wasn't lagging so much, simply because I got way too much stuff running in the background. But here is the fundamentals tab, where you can check out on a quarterly and annual basis some fundamental information on the underlying. So hope that helps out. Okay, on behalf of Anthony and Jeff, I'm sure they want to kill me right now for how long I ran this, but I hope you guys got caught up, and you know, at least it spurred some interest, and you know, might help you with placing your first trade here. But end of the day, feel free to reach out to us if you ever feel unconfident or, you know, not sure on how to do something. We're always like, yeah, it's retail investor, like, hey, try and figure it out yourself. But we're an open book. We were all there. We all started trading at some point, and you know, it's not like we all just like got out of the womb and we're just like, oh yeah, I know about options. It's like, no, it takes some time. A lot of the time it takes some help. So we're here for you guys. Just reach out. Got some of the best support in the business. Jeff and Anthony are fantastic. We're the guys that you'll talk to. You know, get on chats, you'll talk to us. So we all got the same kind of knowledge. We can help you out with anything. You're not going to get like forwarded to the accounts department and wait on the phone for 30 minutes. It's like, no, we'll go walk over to the accounts desk and go tell them, hey, I need this done for this guy. He needs it. And it's boom, done fast. It's like no dilly dallying, no 5 days to wait for an email to come back. We've been really great. So thanks for coming on, guys. Michael, sorry if I didn't see your question. Can you set a price table to sit at the upper left-hand side of the chart? By price table, do you mean like a options table? If that was your question? No, price table. Like a depth of market, like level 2 data, like something you'd see like a ladder where you can see like all the resting orders. Thinking like maybe you're thinking that. If that is it, we do not have level 2 market data on the platform. So like normally where you'd see like a chart and like a ladder where you can like buy and sell and you see all those resting orders. We just don't have that like depth of market data that you might see on some other platforms. Something we've looked into, but it's just like the cost would probably end up passing through you, and it ain't cheap. But yeah, it's something we've looked into. Price table. Oh, price table that follows a cursor. Oh, yes. Good. Okay, sorry. Well, it answered a different question anyways, but this setting right here is actually going to be the one that you're referring to. This is right here is where you can change where your prices move around. Either it'll follow around your cursor like that, or you can change it to this middle one and then it attaches to the top left. I think that's what you're referring to. So apologies for the misinterpretation again. Brain is kind of starting to shut down for the end of the day. Might need to pour a fat drink here in a second, but okay. Thank you folks for a second. So our compliance officer doesn't kill me. I'm gonna show this. It's just a little disclaimer saying like, hey, you know, none of this was investment advice. Don't go buying Google because I was placing orders on well, I mean, do what you want, but don't place trades because I place trades. That's the end of the day. So hope that was great, guys. Big shout out, you know, say that thanks to Jeff and Anthony. They powered through. There's a ton of questions. So thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Reach out. We will send you a recording here on the next day, and we got a lot more great lessons to come. So have a nice rest of your day. Get some good rest. I think we all need it. It's a little chilly in Chicago, but you know, maybe we'll try doing a little golfing. Who knows? I don't. And then also check out. We got some new ads coming out on like some of the main news channels. So keep your eyes open. We're out there. But okay, good stuff. I'll stop talking. I'm on a roll. But have a good one, everyone.